What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Rems back with TNN, and I got a question for all my fellow Americans, and it's a serious question. So please take me serious when I ask you guys this question, and please answer it truthfully. I got a question for you guys. When are Americans gonna stop being yes men? And the reason why I ask this is because this past election and other elections taught me a lot about American society. And what I've learned about American society is that everybody likes to go along and get along. For instance, when the Biden administration was in process, everybody was so gung-ho about everybody's rights and everybody's acceptance, and you couldn't call a he a she and a she a her. You had to be very respectful about, people's sexual preferences, people's choice of appearance. You had to be very sensitive about all these things, and that became pretty much the norm, to the point where as a heterosexual male, you actually felt almost intimidated by some work environments that wanted you to be fully accepting of some of these things. And if you're a huge conservative, or if you fall in the middle like I do, you kind of have to just play by the rules, so to speak. But now you see Trump is in office, and before Trump was even a president, everybody loved Trump. But now that he's a president, he's the worst thing in the world, which to me is kind of like, again, I grew up watching The Apprentice. It was one of my favorite shows. It doesn't even matter if you like Trump. You'll like some of the content that this guy has put out over the years, and frankly, he's a funny dude, whether you like him or not. So a lot of people like Trump not because of his political views. A lot of people like Trump because he's relatable. That's the reason why people like Trump. And I think that's the thing that a lot of Democrats don't understand, is that you can't relate to some of these other people in office, like Biden and Harris. You can't really relate to these people because they read off of cards, and they don't really touch the people in terms of what they're actually going after. I mean, it says it all when their main campaign goes off of 1% of the population. If that doesn't scream something to you, like, why are we pushing these agendas that only affect 1% of the population, that should be a huge red flag. But again, I ask this question because I'm seeing more and more headlines surrounded around Tesla and Elon Musk. Mind you, there's no headlines around Elon Musk, bringing back those 2 astronauts that were stranded during the whole Biden administration. There's nobody talking about that. But everybody has something to say about Elon Musk having the right to audit the government and so on. And I gotta ask you guys, what's wrong with that? You know how many years we've been trying to decrease the deficit? You know how many years of schooling I went through where they told us that China would eventually be better than us, or eventually have a stronger economy than us, because of our horrible spending habits as a country? Like, I don't get where's the like frustration with that whole thing, in terms of him being able to audit and make cuts and so on. So we need these cuts. I'm sorry that government has gotten so big that you have institutions and industries that literally rely on them. But let's face it, that's not what capitalism is. Capitalism is not big government. And That's why I can't stand to talk to people who are uneducated about the economy and who are so party focused that they can't have a legitimate conversation about economics and how it works. Yeah, there's a lot of tariffs, but guess what those tariffs do? Those tariffs basically incentivize American companies to actually make jobs here, to make products here, which is something we haven't done in years. Everything we own is from China. Just go ahead, look under your couch, go in your cabinet, go, you know what I'm saying, go under your sink. Just go ahead and look. Nothing that we have here is from here. Maybe your Ford and your Chevy, but that's about it. All the China and all the furniture that you could think of that was very affordable to you and very convenient for you, guess what? It was made in China. And it'll continue being made in China unless we start putting tariffs. And the jobs will also continue to go to China. So I'm not saying again that I'm for what Trump is doing, but to hear people say that, oh, Trump is making the economy worse. Look, man, check my last 3 videos. The economy has been shit for the last 4 years. So you Democrats, you had 4 years. You had 4 years. No, forget that. You had 8 years. You had 8 years. So it makes me think that it's a very one-sided way of thinking for you to say, oh, well, it's all because of the Republicans. It's all because of Trump that there aren't any jobs and Elon Musk is ruining our country and he's getting a huge payout off. Man, I don't care about billionaires. I don't care about politicians. I don't care about Democrats. I don't care about Republicans. Nor do I give a damn about independents. When it comes down to it, I think a lot of Americans feel the way I do when they say, man, I just want a safe country and I want to be able to raise my family and make good money and retire. If anything that y'all got going on is something outside of that, in terms of me being a citizen in the US, I could give 2 rats. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You want to get rid of the education system? So what? We should be educating our own kids anyway. We should not rely on the education system to educate our children. So that's 1. 2, you want to defund the police? Okay, well, that's why we have the right to bear arms. You should be able to protect yourself and your family, and you should have the right to do that. You should have the right to do that. So again, when I hear, oh, you know, Tesla and Elon Musk is the reason for anything. I even heard the other day in one of the news articles that the board now wants Elon to step down. If I'm Elon, I'm giving all you guys the fat middle finger. I'm not stepping down from my company, especially when we make great products and we produce great technology that the world benefits from, the nation benefits from. So the last thing I'm gonna do is sit here and cancel a man and his company just because he took a job. He took a job and he's actually doing it. Notice that everything that these guys said that they were gonna do, they're doing. And people are acting shocked. I don't get that. To me, it says that we've lived in a very soft country that has accepted this poor behavior, in which we now accept the $38 trillion deficit that is going to be passed on to our grandchildren. I remember listening to Wall Street Trapper talk about this a couple days ago.